Republicans are still scrounging for the votes to repeal and replace Obamacare. Even as they remain optimistic the House will pass the long-stalled bill this week. We're not there yet, White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer said at a press briefing Monday afternoon, hours after other top White House officials were raising expectations of an imminent legislative victory. President Donald Trump. I think the president has made it clear that he's not instituting a timeline, Spicer said. We have a good whip count. I think we feel good about where we are and where it's headed. But ultimately, Speaker Paul Ryan and House leadership determine when to call a vote. I think that we know when the vote gets called. We'll feel confident it will be able to pass. Spicer's comments came just moments after a Trump ally in the House, Rep. Billy Long, RMO, told reporters he opposed the bill, known as the American Health Care Act. I have always stated, one of the few good things about Obamacare is people with pre-existing conditions would be covered, he said in a statement. The latest amendment strips away any guarantee that pre-existing conditions would be covered and affordable. Long's defection threatened to derail House GOP leaders' progress and underscored swerving expectations that have dominated the health care debate at the Capitol. Spicer's measured tone was markedly more subdued than comments just hours earlier by White House Chief Economic Advisor Gary Cohn and Chief of Staff Reince Priebus. In separate interviews on CBS this morning, the two senior White House hands drove expectations. House action on health care. Do we have the votes for health care? I think we do, said Cohn. Priebus said he expected the vote this week, and said it would be one of the fastest pieces of signature legislation to go through a president since Franklin Roosevelt. Trump himself seemed to suggest over the weekend. The House already had enough votes to pass the measure last week. I think they could have voted on Friday, he said in an interview aired Sunday on CBS, Face the Nation. But on Monday, Trump told Bloomberg News that the bill is not in its final form right now, and said, it will be every bit as good on pre-existing conditions as Obamacare. That potentially off-the-cuff comment seemed to undercut GOP leaders on the Hill, who have insisted the bill is in its final form. Lawmakers returned to the Capitol Monday evening where House leaders and vote counters will once again test the level of support they have for the ACA. Though the White House has signaled its desire for a vote on the measure by Wednesday, House leaders have insisted they'll only move the bill when they can guarantee it will garner the 216 vote bare majority it needs to pass. GOP leaders have insisted they're closer than ever to passing the bill, but wavering support from moderate Republicans and other scattered defections have left little margin for error. Ryan, House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy, Majority Whip Steve Scalise, and Chief Deputy Whip Patrick McHenry spent the weekend calling reluctant moderates and connecting some with Trump's Health and Human Services Secretary, former Rep. Tom Price. Vulnerable Republicans are concerned that the bill would harm people with pre-existing conditions or eliminate insurance coverage for millions on Medicaid. Privately, Republicans on the Hill and in the White House realized this week may be their last, best shot to pass the ACA. That's of renewed momentum. The bill after the endorsement of the hardline House Freedom Caucus as well as procedural constraints. GOP lawmakers are relying on arcane Senate budget rules in an attempt to pass their health care plan with a 5-1 vote majority in the Senate, rather than the typical 6-0 vote threshold required for most legislation. But Republicans can't move on to their next big priority, tax reform, without launching a new budget process and canceling out their existing authority to pass health reform at the lower threshold. That would effectively kill the measure, as Democrats would certainly block any Obamacare repeal bill. Requires 60 votes.